The world knew Victor Harrington as a man who could turn anything he touched into gold. At 53 years old, he was one of the richest men in the country. He owned technology companies, real estate empires, and even a few luxury hotels scattered across the world. He was sharp, confident, and intimidating in business meetings. Yet a mystery in his personal life. Victor had only one son, 22-year-old Alexander Harrington, whom he called Alex. Alex had grown up with every possible luxury. Private jets, elite schools, summer houses by the sea. Yet despite all that privilege, he was nothing like the spoiled rich heirs often shown in magazines. He was quiet, observant, and kind. While other young billionaires' sons were throwing parties, Alex preferred reading, painting, or volunteering. At animal shelters, the Harrington mansion in New York was so big that you could get lost in it. But in such a huge house, there was still a certain emptiness. There was no mother's laughter in the halls. Alex's mother had passed away when he was a child, and Victor had never remarried. One summer evening, Victor and Alex sat on the balcony overlooking the city lights. Victor sipped his whiskey while Alex absent-mindedly stirred his coffee. Son Victor began. I've been thinking about the future. I've built this empire for you, but it's not just business. I'm concerned about. You need someone by your side, a partner, a family. Alex smiled faintly. Dad, I'm still young. I'm not rushing into marriage. Victor chuckled. I'm not saying you have to marry tomorrow. But I think it's time you start thinking seriously. And he paused, leaning back. I have an idea. Alex raised an eyebrow. Listening? Victor's tone turned playful. You're going to choose your future mother? Alex blinked. My, what? I mean it. You'll choose the woman. I'll marry someone who will also be a mother to you. I'll introduce you to some of the most beautiful, accomplished women. Models, actresses, entrepreneurs. You pick. You're the one who has to live with her, after all. It sounded like something only a billionaire could say. Alex laughed, thinking his father was joking. But a week later, Victor proved he was. Dead serious, he threw an extravagant weekend event at their Hampton estate. The guest list included 20 of the world's most beautiful women supermodels, TV stars, pageant winners, and socialites. The media, of course, wasn't allowed to know the real reason for the gathering. The women believed it was simply a high-profile networking event. The estate buzzed with luxury. Gourmet chefs prepared meals that looked like art. String quartet played in the garden, and yachts waited at the private dock. Victor explained the plan to Alex privately. Talk to each of them. See how you feel. Looks matter, yes. But I also want you to think about her heart, her character. Don't tell them you're choosing for me. Just observe. When you've decided, I'll propose. Alex didn't love the idea. It felt like a strange kind of beauty contest, but he respected his father enough to try. The first woman Alex met was Isabella, a Brazilian supermodel with a smile that could light up a stadium. She was breathtaking, confident, and knew how to charm. But after 10 minutes of conversation, Alex realized she was more interested in talking about luxury brands than anything deeper. She hardly asked him a single question. Then came Fiona, a British actress known for her elegance, witty and graceful. But she had a sharp way of speaking about others that left Alex uneasy. There was also Camille, a French art curator. Alex thought he'd finally found someone he could talk to until Camille started asking detailed questions about Victor's bank accounts and business shares. The weekend continued like this. Alex met women who were stunning and talented, but most seemed to see Victor as a ticket to a luxurious life. None gave Alex the feeling of warmth or sincerity he hoped to find for his father. On the last evening, the grand ballroom was alive with music and champagne. Alex stepped out to the garden for a breath of fresh air. That's when he noticed someone. Sitting quietly by the fountain, a young woman, in a simple pastel dress, sketching in a notebook. She wasn't wearing designer gowns like the others. Her hair was loosely tied back, and her sandals looked worn but comfortable. She seemed out of place. Curious, Alex approached her. You're not inside dancing? She looked up and smiled softly. I prefer the quiet. Too much noise makes it hard to think. Her name was Lily Bennett. She wasn't a model or an actress. She was a freelance illustrator. She had been invited as a last-minute guest because one of the organizers was her friend, and she'd been visiting nearby. She almost hadn't come, thinking she wouldn't fit in among the glamorous crowd. They began talking. Alex quickly noticed something different about her. She didn't seem impressed by the grandeur of the estate. She asked about his hobbies, his favorite books, and what kind of art he liked. When he mentioned volunteering at an animal shelter, her eyes lit up. She loved animals too. Lily told him about growing up in a small town, working part-time jobs to pay for art school, and how she often illustrated children's books for local charities. She spoke with genuine warmth, without a hint of trying to impress. That night, Alex couldn't stop thinking about her. The next morning, Victor noticed his son was unusually quiet over breakfast. "So," he said with a smirk, "have you found a future Mrs. Harrington for me?" Alex looked up, almost nervously. "Yes, I think I have." Victor leaned forward. "Who?" When Alex pointed to Lily, Victor was taken aback. She's not even one of the main guests. She's not famous. Not what I expected." Alex's voice was calm but firm. "Exactly. She's real. She's kind. She cares about people, not just money or fame. You told me to think about her heart, and hers is the best one here." Victor was silent for a long moment. He had expected his son to pick a glamorous woman from the magazine covers. But as he looked at Alex, he realized his son's choice wasn't about appearances, it was about something deeper. Victor decided to meet Lily himself. Over the next few days, he invited her for coffee, walks in the garden, and dinners with just the three of them. Quickly discovered that Alex had been right. Lily was intelligent, humble, and compassionate. She wasn't intimidated by Victor's wealth. She spoke to him as an equal. For the first time in years, Victor found himself laughing in a way that wasn't forced. He even noticed that Lily had the same gentle patience his late wife once. Had news of their engagement shocked everyone in Victor's social circle. The tabloids had expected him to marry a supermodel or a glamorous heiress, not a small-town artist. But Victor didn't care. At the wedding, when he stood beside Lily, with Alex smiling proudly in the front row, he knew he had made the right choice in the end. The billionaire had trusted his son's heart, and it led him to a woman who reminded them both that true beauty has nothing to do with wealth or fame, but with kindness and love.